Please welcome Tim Costello.
Well, thank you, and it's encouraging to see so many in here, not in the good food and good wine next door. I was afraid you were going to be seduced and not listen to such fascinating people like Murray and I. We never cope with that, do we, Murray? It is, I think, incredibly significant to be discussing what really is the one consensus plan the world has around dealing with global poverty. More than just a plan, I think it's the one consensus ethical foundation that the world has. When you understand that the MDGs struck in the year 2000 just skirted round all the impossible dead-end arguments about the source of human rights, the framework of human rights. Are they secular? Are they religious? Are they collective? Are they individual, as the West says? And was able to say these are such concrete goals that whatever your view on all the philosophical, ethical sources, just sign up. Halving the number of hungry and the number of absolutely poor. Reducing by 2/3 child mortality and by 3/4, so it might be the other way around, the number of maternal deaths. Concrete, measurable, practical. We know that most governments around the world find all sorts of things to disagree on. Some are protectionist, some are free trade, some are more laissez-faire capitalist, some are more maybe government intervention. They all agreed that for the first time, poverty would be placed within a human rights framework, that it was a fundamental denial of human rights to have people who are hungry, to have people who weren't going to school, to see 500,000 women still die in childbirth. That's still the figure, 200,000 in the Asia-Pacific region. A pretty sobering thought. Any Mother's Day, let alone any day besides Mother's Day. Preventable maternal deaths. So here was an astonishing set of goals and really an astonishing ethical platform to say a world with all different sorts of religious and secular and philosophical views around why we're here and what the goals of life are, signed up. As Murray said, it was also very significant that measurable targets were put on these goals. You can take from the World Vision table out there what was 2006 but still not too out of date. How are the neighbours, the Millennium Development Goals in our region? You'll see that Papua New Guinea is off track in every single one of the 7 goals. You'll see that there are other nations in our region that have been making progress. Anyone who is in business knows that there are really 2 things about business, about management. The first thing is to devise a strategy that really is able to give coherence to your whole direction. And the second thing about business and management is to have KPIs to measure how you're going against that strategy. They're the 2 tricks, as I understand management, and I'm no great manager. Well, the MDGs did that. Here's the strategy, here are the goals, that's where we are going. And then scorecards to measure how we're going. As Murray has said, there has been some really mixed success. The number of people considered very poor, absolutely poor, has dropped from 1.9 billion to 1.4 billion. We now know 3 million people are receiving treatment for AIDS, who weren't when these goals were set. We are thankful that global child deaths have dropped to 27,000 a day. 20 years ago, it was 60,000 a day. 2 years ago, it was 30,000 a day. 26,000 a day is still obscene. And I have to say, when I was in New York, there at the General Assembly, driven by Gordon Brown, who is an extraordinary Prime Minister in his passion for development. I have to say of Gordon Brown, he knows more about development than those of us who do it for a day job. He is absolutely remarkable. And he had put on the agenda of the General Assembly halfway toward 2015, let's measure how we're going. Ban Ki-moon, who told me and a few other World Vision leaders he was kept alive by food parcels in the Korean War. He understands the importance of aid. Also agreed, let's measure how we're going. I have to say that what would have been a historic opportunity to ventilate this common ethical foundation. What other common foundation does the world have? A global ethic for a global village was just blown off course by the financial meltdown. So much so that our own Prime Minister, who I think is doing a really good job